Hello, what's up? Today I'm in the middle of filming B-roll for my Skylanders Imaginators video, which, if I've done it right, should already be out by the time you see this, but I figured I've got all of my Skylanders out at the moment. I figured why not do a little show and tell, just show you guys what I've got, and give you my entire Skylanders collection. This is just gonna cover the figures, by the way. I've got all of the games. I have all of them on PS3 and PS4. I have a couple on the Wii, a couple on the Wii U, a few of the handheld titles as well. Not all of them, but I do have all of the main console games on various different machines. So without further ado, we're gonna start off with Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. That was my first Skylanders game. I love it to death. It's probably my favorite in the series because, you know, I played it as a kid, and that's how it works. That's how nostalgia works, baby. So first up, we have Spyro. The lovely Spyro. People don't really like Spyro's design in this series. I don't care, man. I think he's cool. I never had Spyro games as a kid. I never interacted with the Spyro franchise until Skylanders came out. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is Spyro as much as any other Spyro design is. You know? Up next is Trigger Happy. Everyone's favorite little gremlin, goblin. I don't even, what is Trigger Happy? What is he? He's like a little, I know he's like a monster guy, but like, what actually is Trigger Happy? Who knows? And surprise, surprise, we've got Gilgrunt. Who would have thought? It's the starter pack characters. What? Gilgrunt, Trigger Happy, Spyro, absolute legends in my book. I don't have anything against them. I think they're all awesome. I think they're all really cool characters. From a design standpoint, they're really just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like a professional character designer or anything. I just think they're neat. Spyro's Adventure is also kind of the one I have the most figures for, just because, again, that was the one that I played when I was a kid. So we're gonna go through them. Not in any particular order, not in like, oh, these are all the Life Skylanders, these are all the Tech Skylanders. It's just gonna kind of grab them and look at them and go, hey, I have this one, this is a cool one, this is a cool one, you know? So up next is Stump Smash. Now, I actually really like Stump Smash. I know some people are like, oh, he's not as good, he's not as high of a tier as Stealth Elf, for example, as far as Life Skylanders go. But like, you know, he's cool. He's got his little stump. He can spit out a big ball. That's kind of it. I don't remember what his third ability is off the top of my head. But yeah, Stump Smash. He's a cool guy. There's nothing wrong with Stump Smash. I've got a Cinder here who I really like, and funnily enough, I have two Cinders. Somehow I've just acquired two over my time as a Portal Master, I guess. I've got Whirlwind here, and Whirlwind's okay, but I much prefer Sonic Boom, the other kind of air Skylander. I know this one's like the dragon one, and in Spyro's Adventure, like every element had like a dragon one, but like, I don't know. I thought Sonic Boom was cooler, sorry. I've got Stealth Elf, and remarkably, my Stealth Elf is still completely intact. I've seen some Skylanders in my time that have like fallen to pieces, notably Stealth Elf and what's it called? Hex, the undead one, which I don't have, but I've seen some like, they've just fallen to pieces, you know? But my one is in really good nick. Nothing has fallen off yet, and I hope it stays that way. When I was growing up in my little friend group, Stealth Elf was unanimously agreed on as the most broken Skylander in the battle mode of Spyro's Adventure, because you could get some insane damage numbers out of her if you had the right upgrades. And yeah, I mean, you know, I like Stealth Elf. I think it's cool. I think she's cool. I think she's a cool character. Yeah, got a couple more air Skylanders here. I've got Warnado, who I've never actually really used. Most of my Spyro's Adventure figures come from my childhood. They're my childhood figures, but some of them, like Warnado here, are just kind of ones that I've picked up secondhand, either from my time working at a game shop or just kind of out and about, or when I've seen them at like thrift stores. They used to have like bundles of Skylanders figures, and you know, I'd look through and I'd see ones that I didn't have, and I'd go, hey, that's cool, I want that one. Even when I wasn't playing the series, so. Yeah, Warnado. I don't have anything to say about him because I don't think I've ever played as him in game, but there you go. The last of my Skylanders is Lightning Rod, who has been nicknamed Zeus Smurf, and it will stay that way for the rest of time because I don't know. Look at him. He looks like a Zeus Smurf. If he was a Smurf, he would be Zeus Smurf, and I think that's funny. And yeah. Also, I have this little guy. This is Gilrunt, who was a sidekick character in Spyro's Adventure and in Giants, and I think Swap Force as well. That he'd just follow you around like a little companion. But in Trap Team onwards, he was an actual playable character, which I thought was really neat. And I didn't play Trap Team growing up. I only played up to about halfway through Swap Force, and then I just kind of gave up and it didn't really click with me. But recently, in like 2022, I think it was, I played through all of the Skylanders games, and I played through Trap Team, and I put this guy on the portal because I was so used to just having him follow me around. And it was like, there are too many Skylanders on the Portal of Power, so I took one off. And yeah, you could play as the little guy, and I was like, what? It was just, I don't know. I thought it was cool, because like, he doesn't seem like a character that, you know, would save data back to it. Because he's like, you know, these little power-ups, you'd think that it's just kind of like a one-time thing, but no, it was like a full character, and you could save him, and you could, you know, take him off the portal, put him back on, he'd have all his upgrades, and I thought that was really neat. I was like, wow. You know? This is also just sort of, this is a power-up, this is the wing boot. I think it makes your Skylanders faster. It came with Dragon's Peak, maybe? I don't know. I actually don't remember which one this came with or where I got it from. So, sorry. Up next is Bash, who likes to roll around. And something interesting, when I was doing the research for my Imaginators video, I stumbled upon the original prototype for Spyro's Kingdom, which later became Spyro's Adventure. And one of the characters was called Rock Dragon, who was quite literally just Bash. And I was like, that's really cool, that's really neat. Yeah, fun fact. I've got Drill Sergeant, who ended up being one of the goats in my most recent playthrough of Spyro's Adventure in 2022, I think it was. I don't know why, but he just had like crazy damage output and just stayed alive through kind of that brutal final fight against Chaos. And I was like, whoa, this guy is like, he quickly shot up the rankings of like my personal tier list, I guess. I don't know. I don't really look at my Skylanders and go, you do 3 points less damage. I don't want to touch you ever again. But you know, it's like, this guy's pretty cool. Up next is Sunburn, who I think is really, really cool, and he's one of the Forgotten 9, Forgotten 10. I don't know. There's like a few Skylanders that never ever got any extra figures from you know, from their game of origin. They're not all from Spyro's Adventure, but Sunburn is one of those because he just never received additional figures. He never got a Series 2, he never got a Light Core, he never got a Supercharger, and I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity because Sunburn's really cool and he's got, you know, this cool like Phoenix power, and I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity to not play into like the fire stuff, but yeah, it is what it is, you know, it is what it is. Here is Double Trouble, who is one of the ones that I haven't played as, so I can't really comment on him outside of like his design, which when I first saw him, I thought it was like one of those Crash Bandicoot masks, but I've since sort of realized that he's not that, and he's probably the same kind of species as Zeus Smurf over here, because you know they're both like blue and kind of muscular, and they have like similar body types and 3 fingies, so it's like, yeah, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Have you played as him? Have you played as Double Trouble? If you have, give me a review. Up next, I have one of the goats. I've got Zap, who is one of my favorites, purely because of like sentimental value. My grandma bought me Zap when I was but a small child, and he was the first Skylander that was gifted to me, and I was like, this is a really cool thing. So yeah, thank you, Grandma. Also on Zap, and kind of like pulling it back to Spyro's Kingdom with Bash, there was like a Cyclops snail in the footage, and it looked like his moveset was kind of like identical to Zap's with the slime and like riding the slime and like making it electric. So like, you know, I thought, I don't know, I thought it was cool. I got Sparks the Dragonfly here, who I don't remember what he does because it's been so long since I've used him, but I got him with Dragon's Peak. with Sunburn, with also the Winged Boot, I think. One of 3 Spyro characters to come back into Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, which was a reboot of Spyro with 3 Spyro characters. So, this one isn't really even a playable character. He's just kind of there. So it's like, what's the point, It's cool that we have him. Don't get me wrong. It's cool that we have him. Here we have Drobot, another one of people's favorites, similarly to Stealth Elf because of the amount of damage that he can do with his lasers. It's just kind of insane. But, I mean, I love his design, you got a little robot dragon, it's like cyberpunky. It's really neat, and his Light Core variant, which we'll get into later, is really cool. Got another one of the forgotten Skylanders in Dino-Rang, who, for a long time, was one of my forgotten Skylanders, because I genuinely forgot that he existed. Until I saw him just kind of like on a shelf at like a retro game store, and I was like, oh yeah, Dino-Rang exists. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, I mean, he's cool. He throws boomerangs. He wasn't one that I used as a kid. I had one Skylander of every element outside of Zap as like a gift, and like I played with those guys to death, and like that was kind of it for a long time. Until I'd sort of buy a few more over the years. As I grew up, I saw like Drobot, for example, just ones that I thought was cool. It wasn't a necessity for me to buy every single one of them when I was growing up, and it kind of remains like that to this day. It is what it is. Here we have Zook, or Zook. I don't know, is it Zook? Like, he's got a bazooka, so is it Zook or is it Zook? I actually don't know. I've always called him Zook, but like, if that's wrong, please correct me. I'd love to know. I really liked him. I really liked his gameplay and like growing the little vines and shooting his bazooka. He was cool. And his Series 2 was even cooler, which we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, I don't know, I liked him. This is a nice trip down memory lane for me. I haven't like properly sat down and looked and thought about every single one of my Skylanders in a long time, so yeah. We've got Camo here, who was the favorite of one of my buddies growing up, and I mean, you can see why. He's like a really cool grass dragon, and yeah. He was one of the forgotten ones, I think, but then he got a Series 2 in Swap Force, I think? Which I don't have, but yeah, I mean, I like Camo. I think he's cool. I think he's neat. I never really had an issue playing with him when I was younger. I don't remember any bad times with Camo. I got him because my friend really liked him, and I wanted to sort of have that, available as he came over. But then, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of Skylanders, which is to save your progress to your figure and bring it over to your friend's house. But I don't know, I was a kid. I didn't think of that. Might as well get these out of the way. These are adventure packs. These are Dragon's Peak and Empire of Ice. And I actually genuinely don't know where I got it from, but I have another Dragon's Peak. I've got 2 of them. I don't know where the second one came from. It actually genuinely perplexes me, and I don't know which one is mine and which one is the one that I picked up, because they look identical. But I don't know. Got another little power-up here, the winged chest, which would spawn a chest somewhere in the level or in the Core of Light, and you could go and find it, and you can go and get some money for your guys so you could buy some upgrades. It was cool. It was cool. It was a cool thing to do. It's got like a kind of Spyro-y looking head. If you can kind of make that out. And yeah, I don't know. I've got a Raptor here. He's a Raptor. He's one of the mascots of Skylanders. I think they had like a Thanksgiving Day parade balloon of him at one point, and I was like, why a Raptor of all the characters? Why not like, I don't know, Trigger Happy or Gilgran? Why this guy? But I mean, he's got his fans. People like him. I'm like indifferent, I guess. I was a Sunburn guy, I was one of the cool kids. I was one of the cool Sunburn guys. I don't know, at least where I was growing up, if you had anything Skylanders, you weren't really one of the cool kids. Yeah. I got Prism Break here, who was one of my OGs, and I love him. I love his design. I think it's really cool with all the all the crystals And his gameplay was really unique too. I thought it was like a nice sort of, I don't know, how do you describe it? It felt like it went hand in hand with like the light beam puzzles that you had to do, except he was like one of the guys that could make them. And I was like, oh wow, cool, I can now cheese all of the light beam puzzles, which is not how it worked at all. And that was a little disappointing, but hey, you know, I needed an Earth Skylander, and I got Prison Break, and I mean, he was really fun to play as, so, you know. I think that is one of Skylanders' strengths. All of the characters are really fun to play as. They all have, like, unique movesets to a certain degree, but they all feel good to play as, at least in the games that they came from. You know, in future games, some of them got nerfed, some of them got Imaginators especially, but at least in the games that they were from, it was really fun to play as kind of every single character, which, you know, if you're paying real money for a figure, you kind of don't want to buy a dud. These three are ones that I've just kind of picked up in recent years, secondhand. I got Voodooed, I got Flameslinger, and I've got Boomer. And I think Boomer was one of the first characters conceived for Skylanders as like Bomb Troll. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's cool. And it's weird that we haven't gotten like another character of his species. I'm just looking through everything that I've got to make sure I'm not like wrong. But I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I don't think we have another character like him, which kind of sucks, but like, it is what it is. It makes him all the more unique, you know? Up next is my personal favorite Skylanders figure, Dark Spyro. This guy, oh my gosh, was like my grail for the longest time because I thought his design was so cool, like the color scheme with the black and the silver, and it was like so sleek. And on the 3DS version he was a different character, but like by the time I was going to look for him, the 3DS version had like sold out and I wasn't able to find him. And they used to make like single packs of Dark Spyro, but not in Australia, not where I lived at least. And yeah, for years and years and years I was like, oh man, it'd be cool if I ever saw one. Like I'd pick one up if I saw it. Even long after I'd stopped playing Skylanders, I just really liked the way he looked. And yeah, one day I was at a game store and I just sort of saw this like bin of assorted Skylanders and I had to dig through, and there he was, and the rest is history. I actually have a couple of boxed Skylanders Spyro's Adventure figures, and they were grails for a very long time. Or rather, specifically, one of them was a grail, and then the rest of them just kind of came with it. So we're gonna go over those. I've got Legendary Trigger Happy here, and his box has sort of seen better days, and he's got like this thing on, and I kind of want to take it off, but I don't want to wreck the box any more than it already is. It came like this. This is sort of the condition it was in when I bought it. This one isn't my grail one. It just sort of came with the rest of them. It was exclusive to Toys R Us, at least in the US. I actually don't remember it ever getting a release in Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I never actually got a chance to buy this in Australia. I don't think it actually came to Australia. So the fact that I have this, I think is really neat. And yeah, I don't know. My other box one is kind of the big one, kind of my prized possession of Skylanders, at least as far as that's concerned. And it is the Legendary Triple Pack, featuring Legendary Bash, Legendary Chop Chop, and Legendary Spyro. Ah, Legendary Spyro. I really liked his design. Not as much as Dark Spyro, mind you, but I could not get the Legendary Triple Pack, at least where I was. And you know, the Toys R Us that was near my house at the time, rest in peace, didn't stock it. And I don't know if that's just because I had bad luck or because the Toys R Us deal was like exclusively for the Americas, but I really wanted him, but I couldn't justify importing it because it was more expensive, and you know, as a kid you have limited funds, and yeah. I found these on Facebook Marketplace. It was so weird. It was around the time that I was playing through all of the older games, and I was just like, yeah, what the hell? I'll look it up on Marketplace and see if there's anything. And there it was. And I was like, done. That's mine. I've got it. I want it. I don't normally like go on Marketplace either anymore, but I don't know, something called to me, I guess. You can say it was fate if you want. I've also checked and all 4 of these figures actually do work in the game, but I don't want to take them out of the box because, you know, I think the fact I've got box Skylanders in, you know, this current day and age, I think that's a really just fun thing to have. That's it for Spyro's Adventure. Let's move on. Let's talk Skylanders Giants. This is sort of where we start to see each collection dwindling. Yeah, I don't know. Skylanders Giants was the kind of last game that like I was really into, but even then, all you needed was 1 giant and then all of the elements, which I already had from Spyro's Adventure, so I didn't see much point in getting too many of the figures. So most of these are from recent years, but if it was a childhood figure, I don't know, I'll let you know. So first up, obviously, is Tree Rex, and he glows when you put him on the portal, which is pretty neat. But I have 2 of these, and I don't know where my second one is, because I originally got the 3DS version of Skylanders Giants, because, you know, I didn't want to miss out on the exclusive figure that one came with, because I missed out on Dark Spyro as a kid. But because I was a kid, I didn't realize that Skylanders Giants on the 3DS was a completely separate game to Skylanders Giants on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and the Wii and the Wii U as well. And yeah, so I picked up the Portal Owners Pack for the Wii U. No, it wasn't. It was the Xbox 360 originally that I had, which I don't have anymore. And then I picked it up on the Wii U. Sorry for lying. I have a couple more Giants. They're from more recent years. Again, I never really saw any point in buying more Giants because 1, they were more expensive, and 2, I kind of liked Tree Rex more than any of the other ones. I got a friend now who like really likes the Magic Giant and Genie, but I don't have her, so sorry. I've got Swarm and I've got Crusher. And weirdly enough, with all of the kids that I was friends with growing up, I never actually knew anyone that had regular Crusher. Everyone had this weird variant called Granite Crusher where he was like blue, and that is one that I don't have. So when I saw like regular Crusher, I was really surprised, and I don't know. For the longest time, I thought that regular Crusher was the variant and Granite Crusher was like the normal one, just because of how common the Granite Crusher was, at least in my sort of area growing up. These guys also glow when you put them on the portal. Swarm's eyes and his little stinger glow, and Crusher's, I think, yeah, his eyes and his little thingies glow. I don't even know what you'd call that. It's on like his little shoulder pauldron. I don't know. I've got a legendary Slam Bam. I don't actually remember when I picked this up, but it wasn't a grail. Sorry if it is to you. Yeah, legendary Slam Bam. I'm pretty sure that if you put this guy on Spyro's Adventure, I think he shows up as regular Slam Bam. I could actually be wrong though, so there'll be a little bit of text here that says if I'm wrong. But that was a pretty cool feature of Skylanders. From sort of Giants onwards was the backwards compatibility, or I guess forwards compatibility. I don't know what term is used for what, but if you had a character from Giants that was also in Spyro's Adventure, you could play as them in Spyro's Adventure, and you know, so on and so forth with Swap Force and Trap Team. But I don't think SuperChargers was counted for that. One such example for me was Lightcore Drobot here. He shows up as regular Drobot in Spyro's Adventure, and this was the one that I had as a kid. He glows when you put him on the portal, his little core there, if you can see that. And I mean, you know, it's not the most exciting Lightcore feature. Like, you could have had his eyes glow up as well, or I don't know, that's kind of it, just his eyes and his core. But you know, I still thought it was really neat, the fact that I could use this guy and play as him in Spyro's Adventure as, you know, my Drobot across both Giants and Spyro's Adventure. I don't know, it was really neat. It was a really neat feature. And if Skylanders launched today, that would definitely not be a feature because of the way the gaming landscape is going. I've got another Lightcore here, Lightcore Pop Fizz, which is one that I've just picked up recently. I don't know. My favorite version of Pop Fizz is Punch Pop Fizz, who came with the 3DS version. There he is. He's red. That's kind of it. I've got Chill, who was another, like, one of those gift Skylanders. I think she was a Christmas present one year. And she's seen better days. Like with a lot of the Skylanders that I've had since the dawn of time, like they're kind of clear plasticky bits have yellowed a bit from just like sun exposure, from age. They've aged a bit. But Chill was really cool because she had this like cool ability to summon a narwhal, if I remember right. And I was like, that's really weird, but okay, I'm with it. I'm here for it. And I don't know, I liked the way that she played. I liked her gameplay. I liked her attacks with like throwing the little projectiles. And yeah, I don't know. It's nice to think back. Oh, Shroom Boom! I've got a Shroom Boom! I forgot that I had this guy, but he was one of my favorites playing Giant. I vividly remember, I don't know the name of the level, but it's the one where you get the soul gem for Flashwing. I think the crystal-y dragon that is like white and pink and blue. And like I'd used all of my other Skylanders, they'd all died, and I was like, oh, I gotta put this weird one with the mushroom on the portal. So I did, and he like soloed everything, and I was like, what? Yeah, it's a nice, I don't know. Story of an underdog, you know? Shroom Boom was cool. Shroom Boom gang. I'm a Shroom Boom gang. I got a couple of Series 2 Skylanders. I've got Spyro and Cinder here. Cinder's kind of a cop-out because she came in the you know, starter pack, regardless of if we're talking the 3DS version or the other one. Spyro, Series 2. I don't actually remember what his WoW power was, but something to do with his wings. I don't know. I didn't use him. I just used my Series 1 Spyro. I've also got a couple other Series 2s. I've got Zook, who was absolutely phenomenal with his WoW power, being able to aim the mortar cannon. I just like destroy bosses with that. It was so fun. And I've got Chop Chop and Igniter. And I don't remember where I got Igniter from, but I've had him since I was a kid. Same with Chop Chop. And these were other ones similar to my story with Light Cord Robot that I'd use on both games and just kind of have a good time. And yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was neat. I've got Hot Dog here, and I bought this one from one of my friends a few years back because they wanted to play as Hot Dog. They thought he was cute, and I mean, I actually don't have an opinion on Hot Dog. I think he looks fine. He's like a little guy, a little monster doggy. But I've never played as him, so apologies for that. My last two Giants figures are this special edition glow-in-the-dark Fright Rider and this cannon. I don't remember what the cannon came with. It came with one of my figures, or maybe two of them. I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll put a little picture of what it came with next to me. But the cannon lights up when you put it on the portal, and it was like a thing. It just followed you around, if I remember right, and just shot at enemies, and I thought that was cool. I don't know. And glow-in-the-dark Fright Rider. This was my first ever special edition Skylander, and I remember seeing him on the shelf and being like, I have to get that one! So I did. And then I remember not really liking playing as him. Don't get me wrong, he was fine. Like, he had his lance attack, and he had, like, his bird could, like, go underground and, like, pop up. But, I just didn't really click with me, you know? I still think he's neat, though. I still think he's really cool. We're now moving on to Skylanders Swap Force, which I played as a kid, and I got maybe 3 or 4 levels in. I don't know. I got about halfway, I'd say, to sort of give myself a bit of grace. But I didn't finish it. I did not get to a point where the credits rolled. But I did pick up a special edition Wii U bundle that came with Skylanders Swap Force, and also this special edition Color Shift Washbuckler. And I thought that was so cool. And then he was just regular Washbuckler in the game, but he had like a little thing that said special on it. And I was like, okay. Like, come on, man. Let me play as the oil slick Washbuckler. That'd be so funny. Swap Force was also like a turning point for the series because it was the first one developed by Vicarious Visions. It was the first one in the engine that they ended up using until the end of the series, and it was the first one where you could jump. And I remember people on the internet were like really excited at that, and I was like, okay. I think when I was younger, I was more annoyed at the fact that they were changing the control layout than adding a jump button. But yeah, Washbuckler. I mean, the whole gimmick of Swap Force is that you can swap top and bottom halves. So, you know, you can have, instead of Blast Zone and Washbuckler, you've got Wash Zone and Blast Buckler, or, you know? But I will be so honest with you. I didn't really use the gimmick. I just used these guys as normal Skylanders. I don't know. It just didn't really, like, appeal to me. It was really cool, though. And it gave me a similar feeling to when I first put Spyro on the portal all those years ago. It just worked. And I was like, that is cool. Because, like, you know, there's just magnets there. And, like, I don't know. I just thought it was really neat. Just the fact it worked. The fact that you could just swap the characters, top and bottom halves, and it worked was really cool. And it's cool that we're seeing that sort of come back with Kirby Air Riders and the amiibo for that, just as a kind of off-topic thing. With you being able to, as far as I understand it, just take the racer out of the vehicle and put another one in, and have that work as a different amiibo. I think, I don't know. It's cool, but we did it first, baby. And yeah. I got a couple other Swap Force figures. I've also got Ninja Stealth Elf, which was the other starter pack character. And, you know, it's kind of a cop-out because it was a starter pack character. But, yeah. The rest of my Swap Force figures, and also the rest of my figures from now on, are ones that I've picked up since getting back into the series from about 2020 onwards. Yeah, so I've got Free Ranger, I think his name is. Because I didn't grow up with the rest of these characters, I actually have, like, on my iPad a list of all of the characters from Swap Force onwards. This is, where is he? Free Ranger, yeah, okay. This is Free Ranger, and this is Legendary Free Ranger. I picked them up on the same day, and I don't know why. I just thought it was cool to have both a regular and a legendary variant of the same character. I was kind of disappointed when I put him on the portal for the first time because, you know, I thought he'd have this like cool tornado bottom half, but it was just like chicken legs, and I was like, huh. And I know it's like one of his abilities, but like still, you know, it just stung a teeny tiny bit. The other two swappers I have are Rattleshake and Hoot Loop, who, you know, they're fine, I guess. I don't know, man. They're okay. I don't really have any opinions on them. I vaguely remember playing as Rattleshake when I was like going through the series and binging it. But I don't know if I ever actually touched Hoot Loop. And then I got a couple other core figures. I've got Series 3 Chop Chop, and I have Legendary Zulu, which is just another one of those like random legendary finds that was just kind of at like, I think it was like a thrift store, and I was like, what is this doing here? So I picked it up. And like, I'm not ever gonna be the kind of person that's going for a complete collection of Skylanders. I'm just picking up the ones that I think are cool, and also any Imaginators that I can find for cheap. Not like the creation crystals, but just like the figures, because like buying them secondhand on the used market for like specifically for Skylanders is like atrocious. Have you seen how much Robo goes for? It's like $700, and it's like, what the hell? That's it for the Swap Force. We'll move on to Trap Team now, which, yeah, this is the start of the games that I had actually genuinely never played until I got back into the series a few years ago. I remember hearing from kids that Trap Team was really fun, and I was like, okay, I didn't care. I was into more serious stuff like Team Fortress 2. which depending on how you look at it is either a good thing or a bad thing. But I've since played Trap Team, and it's really good. I kind of rank it. It's high on the ranking list. It's higher than Swap Force, definitely. I don't know if it holds a candle to Spyro's Adventure and Giants, just because like that's like nostalgia for me. But I think if I had to make a tier list, it would be Spyro's Adventure, and then Giants, and then Trap Team, and then Swap Force, SuperChargers, Imaginators, kind of in that order. I really liked the story of SuperChargers, but the gimmick with the cars didn't really appeal to me. And that was kind of like, that was a running theme from kind of Swap Force onwards. It didn't really like grab me the same way that Spyro's Adventure did with the Toys to Life and Giants did. just with like the continuation of that, you know? But as far as Trap Masters go, I've got Snapshot, I've got Blastermind, I've got the chewed up Dark Snapshot, and I have a pretty rough looking Nightlight. That's right, baby. I got the light element. That's right. I did it. Nightlight and Dark Snapshot were one of those weird thrift store finds. I was like, you know, it'd be rude not to. I totally missed the introduction of the new elements when I was a kid. So being able to kind of retroactively experience that was really cool. And Blastermind, I thought that this guy was related to Chaos. Is that just me? He just had such a similar build to Chaos and like similar looks other than being blue. I was like, are these guys related? Blastermind is also missing a nose, but you know. Oh, I forgot a Swap Force figure. It's a trigger happy variant. It's a Easter springtime trigger happy. I don't know what the actual name of this variant is, but he's pink, and that's cool. I've got some adventure packs from Trap Team. I've got the Dark and the Light expansion packs, which I haven't actually played yet, and I do intend to one day. They were another like retro game store find, and they were like stupid cheap, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to get this. So I did. I got a couple of core Skylanders from Trap Team. I've got Food Fight, who came in the starter pack, obviously. I have a Series 2 Jetvac. I think it's Series 2. It could be Series 3. I don't actually know. But he's red and dual wields his gun. I got Chopper, who I was like, this is really fun. He's just like a dinosaur with like a little helicopter blade on him, and I was like, this guy's fun. That's it. He was just a fun design. I've got a legendary Blades, who was fun to play as, honestly. He had a really cool moveset, and it kind of like took me by surprise, honestly. And I've got a Blackout and a Spotlight. And Spotlight looks like it's been chewed up by a dog at some point. I am not the original owner of these. But Blackout is like in perfect condition and looks awesome. And is like my first and only Dark Skylander. Not counting like Imaginators creation crystals, because I got one of those as well. I've also got a couple of traps from Trap Team. I've just lost one. There they are. Just let's go over them. I've got a Light Owl trap. I've got a Light Owl trap. I've got another light trap. It's like a rocket ship, I think. I've got a Dark Spider, a Dark whatever that is. I actually don't know. What is this? The grass and the water trap that you get in the starter pack, and also the Chaos trap. And I don't actually know if this has Chaos in it. I don't know. Didn't really care for trapping bosses in Trap Team. It was just like, whatever, you know? While Trap Team was like the current Skylanders game, there was this line of original Spyro's Adventure figures that came out with boosted stats called Eon's Elite. And I really, really wanted Spyro, but I never got him. But I did somehow come across Terrafin and Whirlwind just in like a box of assorted Skylanders. And yeah, I mean, like they're really cool. They've got like this metallic sheen to them, and you know, the golden base, and like the clear, what's it called? And it's really neat. And one day I will get Spyro. One day I will have every Skylanders Spyro variant, but today is not that day. If I ever see him in like just an assorted bin of Skylanders stuff, I'll pick him up. But I'm not about to like go and buy him individually, like from like a website where you can pick and choose Skylanders, because then I will be overpaying. Because like, I want him, but I don't want him that badly, you know? Up next is SuperChargers, which is the game I have the least amount of figures for, because I played the game basically with my existing Skylanders, and also like just the ones that came in the starter pack. And then over time I found a couple more, and I was like, yeah, I'll pick that one up, I'll pick that one up. But largely SuperChargers just kind of came and went for me. Again, I liked the story. The story of SuperChargers was really cool because it tackled some more serious themes. And when I say serious, it's like instead of aiming at like 8-year-olds, you're aiming at 12-year-olds, you know? Like, there's not too much difference, but like it was a bit better. I don't know. But as far as like cars go, I'm not a car guy, and the whole idea of like buying cars and vehicles and stuff never really appealed to me. Even like recently when I've been revisiting the series, it's probably the weakest gimmick and the one that I like connect with the least, just as far as like my enjoyment out of using that gimmick goes. Does that make sense? But anyway, I've got Spitfire here, and I have his vehicle, Hot Streak, which is cool. I've got Stealth Elf. I got the Stealth Elf from SuperChargers, which I will look up the name now. Super Shot Stealth Elf, who I'd never actually used when I was playing through SuperChargers. I've got Astro Blast, who was cool. He was my first light Skylander that I got, and I thought he was really cool. I have his vehicle as well, the Sun Runner, and that's pretty neat. I've also got Terrafin, who I didn't use. What was his like supercharger name? Shark Shooter Terrafin. And then I have a couple other vehicles. I've got the Soda Skimmer and the Sea Shadow, which, yeah, I mean, I don't remember what type of vehicle the Soda Skimmer is, but I remember I used these three. I used Hot Streak, I used the Sunrunner, and I used the Sea Shadow in my playthrough of SuperChargers because I wanted to have like one type of each vehicle, and I did, so yeah. I think towards the end of my playthrough of SuperChargers though, I didn't actually go in like the optional areas for the vehicles because I just didn't like playing with them, you know? I didn't really like the vehicle segments. I thought the moment-to-moment Skylanders gameplay was fine enough on its own as it is, you know? I didn't really like adding vehicles into the mix. That's all of my SuperChargers figures. However, there is a but, because I don't really count them as SuperChargers figures. There were a couple of Nintendo exclusive Skylanders, and I've got them both. Not like, they had a couple of variants as well, but I've just got like the main ones, which is Hammer Slam Bowser and Turbocharge Donkey Kong. And I think these are really, really nice things. I remember being really impressed when I saw these. I think it was like an E3 that it was revealed at, because on the bottom, you've got this like little switch here, and like you can spin the base, and depending on which way your base is spun, Donkey Kong and Bowser will either act as a Skylander or an amiibo. And I thought that was really, really cool. I thought it was a really, really nice way to cross-promote both the Skylanders brand and the amiibo brand. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really neat. They had their own respective vehicles as well. We had Bowser's and we had Donkey Kong's. I don't actually know the names for these ones off the top of my head, but yeah, this one's based off Bowser's Clown Car, and this one is Donkey Kong's Barrel Blaster, I think. I could be so wrong. I could be butchering that. But yeah, they're cool. My problem is I didn't play SuperChargers on the Wii U, so I didn't actually get to use them in my playthrough. I played all of my games on PlayStation, but one day I will. I think maybe. Don't quote me. Maybe. That brings us to the final Skylanders game in the series, Imaginators, which I have more figures for than I thought I would, honestly. Like, when I sat down to play through Imaginators, I was like, okay, I'm only gonna use figures from Imaginators for this. And I was really actually kind of impressed with the roster that I'd built up just from kind of just like finding them and buying them over the years from secondhand stores, from thrift stores, things like that. Yeah, I have a bunch of creation crystals, and like, I'm not really a fan of the creation crystals in general. Like, the idea of building your own Skylander on paper as a concept is pretty neat, it's pretty cool, but to me it goes against Toys to Life because, you know, you have these like really well-designed figures that like is part of the whole appeal of Skylanders to me, is putting them on the portal and bringing them to life in a video game. That is awesome. So getting like just a weird tube and being like, yeah, this is my guy. He's cool. It just takes away a little bit of the magic, you know? I mean, to kind of counteract that, they do like light up when you put them on the portal, and that's pretty neat, but I don't know. It's not the same. It's not the same. But I've got a fire one, I've got a water one, I've got an earth one. I think that's undead. Yeah, an undead one. a life one, and then a light one, and an air one, and also the two that I actually did use in my playthrough, because I didn't use those ones. Those were just kind of ones that I had but didn't end up using, was this fire one, which has a swashbuckler called Sub to JG on it. So do that. And this one, which is a dark one, that has a guy called Sandwich on it, and he's a sorcerer. And I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of a disappointment. I don't know if I just like built him wrong, but like every single time I put him on the portal, he just underperformed. I don't know. I've got a couple of the Imaginite chests here. I've got kind of one of each, you know, the bronze, the silver, the gold. And these were bought as this. They weren't bought like in blind bags, which is how they were originally sold. I just kind of wanted them to have them because like it's just a really, like, to me, it's like a relic of a really interesting time in the gaming industry when loot boxes were going crazy, and this was kind of like as bad as you could get, because not only was the contents of those randomized, but which one you got was randomized as well in the blind box. The physical, actual, it was like a loot box within a loot box, and you could only use it once per profile on your console. And I was just like, this is a really, like, I don't like them. Okay, I don't like loot boxes, especially in Skylanders, especially in a game that is aimed at children. But just the fact they exist, it's just really like fascinating to me. It's like, wow, okay, this is a tangible, like, actual physical reminder of where the gaming industry was at this point in time. And I really, really hope we don't ever go back to that again. I've also got some senseis, and I think they're really cool. I think they're really fun. They are the highlight of Imaginators for me, because not only are they really well thought out characters, their figures are just so like really well done and really detailed. And they're some of the best Skylanders figures that we actually have, like from a like figure model perspective. So yeah, as a cop-out, we've got Kingpin and Golden Queen, you know, your starter pack characters, and they're like fine. I prefer Kingpin to Golden Queen. He's just like a little goofy guy. He's like, he comes in and he's all like intimidating, and he's like, yeah, I'm this ancient Skylanders master. And then like you play as him and he's just a big silly guy. I've got Dr. Crankcase and Graveclubber, and Dr. Crankcase, I never really got an opportunity to play with him throughout my saves, because every time I put him on the portal, he'd die really quickly, and I wasn't able to sort of level him up enough. And I don't know, his whole like sharpshooter mechanic didn't really appeal to me in like the way that I play the games. I like melee characters, and when it comes to like ranged characters, they have to do damage. They have to be able to put down good damage. Like Trigger Happy, for example, in Drobot. But yeah, Dr. Crankcase to me, he was like, he was fine, don't get me wrong. And his figure's really cool, and his design's really cool, and it's really, really cool that like previous villains from the Skylanders series were now playable as Skylanders. I thought that was a really cool concept. But yeah, Dr. Crankcase and Graveclubber, I really dug Graveclubber when I was playing as him, and like the way that he could like, I don't know, I don't have any ways to like describe why I like playing as him. I just did. He had like a good vibe about him, you know? I've got Ambush here, who became like an unexpected favorite of mine. I'm not gonna lie. Like I went into Imaginators not really like caring for his design or his figure, but then I put him on the portal and like played as him a bit, and like I was like, this is, okay, I see what this guy's doing, I see what he's doing. And then yeah, eventually I just grew to love him. I thought he was really neat by the end of it, and like he was one of my favorites by the end of it. We've got Pain Yada, who is one of the textbook examples of childlike wonder and whimsy with his stupid running animation. I say that endearingly, I love it, and his big lollipop, and oh man, he just brought a smile to my face every single time I played as him. He's just so silly. And yeah, definitely one of my favorites from Imaginators, one of my favorite senseis. Yeah. I've also got Crash Bandicoot and Neo Cortex from the Thumpin' Wumpa Islands level, which I really liked. I thought it was really cool just having like a Crash Bandicoot level in there. And I know it was like more a Skylanders level than it was a Crash level, but just the fact that, you know, we had it was really neat. And Crash's design in Skylanders feels really faithful to Crash. as a character. I know it's like it's not obviously 100%, but I think it's much better than like looking at Spyro, for example. I think they translated his design into the Skylanders world a lot better than they did with Spyro. But you know, Spyro was kind of like their first one, so you know. And finally, the Skylander that I had hoped to be a playable character, kind of since Spyro's adventure, finally came to fruition with Imaginators, and it, yes, is Chaos, and he's just so cool. And I know it's not the Chaos, I know it's like a clone, but like, just the fact that we have like an actual Chaos figure, and he's playable, and there's no weird butts or anything, there's no weird catches, there's no weird clauses, he's just Chaos, and he's using his mind magic from Imaginators. It's so cool. And when I saw that was a real thing, that almost brought me back into Skylanders, like when it released in 2016. It wasn't quite enough, but like, but this is probably the only figure that I actually like went out and sought out when I was like getting back into the series. The last thing I want to show off isn't actually a figure, it's like a custom piece. It is my Master Eon helmet, and helmet is in big quotation marks because it's a bit of paper mache and hot glue and a bit of shoddy paint and half an Easter egg on the front. And the story behind this one is when I was making my first Skylanders video, I thought it'd be really funny to have like a really bad Eon cosplay open up the video as like a "Greetings, Mortal Masters" sort of thing. And so I got to work and I was like, that'd be funny if I could just like make one out of paper mache and like make it really like obviously homemade. And so I did, and I don't know, I thought it was funny, and people liked it, so it stuck, and it stayed around, and it comes back every now and then as a bit like a running thing, and yeah, it's in the background of a lot of videos. That has been my entire Skylanders collection. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the support on my recent stuff. This has been a fun little bonus video just to kind of give you guys just a little something extra on the Skylanders front. Just something low stakes, low key, just like a nice little chat, nice little hangout, and I can just do a bit of a show and tell. Thank you so much for the support on my recent stuff. It's been incredible, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so humbled by the response to some of my things. It's actually awesome. So thank you guys, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. It has been a blast. I'm not going anywhere. I've got more videos in the pipeline. Like I'm not stopping. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, stick around. I don't know how to end this video. Goodbye, Mortal Masters!